Society.
Strangers. Strangers in society.
Strangers on the internet.
The secret.
Strangers.
Society. Oh, welcome, stranger.
Secret to society. Strangers.
Society.
Welcome to the secret society.
Strangers.
Welcome back to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. I'm Lee. I'm here with Josh and Jamie.
What up?
Hey guys.
Hello.
What's going on? How you guys been?
Good,
Great.
good. Just busy, moving back into the house, getting things settled. Baby's doing really well, so everything's super chill over in these parts.
Baby life.
Oh man, it's so great.
Everything comes out of order. So like you are just about to have the baby to everybody listening right now. Like the last episode, you're about to have the baby. And now you're having the baby.
And now the baby is turning 16.
yeah,
and
yeah.
doing his house.
Oh yeah,
So the
the
baby's,
baby's
here
time
and-
traveling.
Excellent.
Exactly. See?
It's so
Very
fitting
good.
for this episode.
That is so fitting.
Uh,
Because, yeah, all right. That's a good segue later into mine, which is like a thinking about time travel in a different kind of way. So I like that, Josh. For
awesome.
time traveling
Oh,
around
yeah.
here.
If you haven't picked up and you're listening, this episode is a time travel-y episode, a timey-wimey episode. It has a lot to it. Again, I think every episode, I'm going to say that at the beginning and say that we're going to break this up into parts and kind of just tell you things about that topic, because otherwise you'll have a 6.5 an hour episode on each topic. So yeah, time travel. It's everywhere. Like every show you watch,
All our favorite movies.
all
yeah.
all the movies.
Back to the Future. I saw it in movie theater. Saw it like 5 times.
The original one.
Yes, that's how old I am. Obsessed.
It's such a good franchise, though.
Yeah, that's like the
Good.
number one. That's the mark, the pinnacle. But I was just thinking today about how many things involve, or like TV shows or movies involve, and like the list just goes on. Every time you think of one, you could think of the other.
Exactly.
Rick and Morty, and I was thinking even like Interstellar, technically,
it's such
is
a
like,
good one too.
Oh, yeah.
like
I
a
think
time
that
travel.
might hit closest to what time travel is.
Oh yeah.
Well-
Wormhole and dimensions and stuff like that.
Well, that's
Maybe
what they
ghosts
say,
are just time travelers.
and they're just
Maybe.
like flashing by. They're going just in another lane.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's-
we're in the slow lane.
Yeah, we're all. Well,
Bless our hearts.
I know what that means. I know I'm from the north, but I know what that means, Jamie.
It can go both ways. I feel
Right.
like, bless your heart, like, God bless you.
Southern for
sweet
fuck
way.
you.
Yep.
No. But also, like, that's pitiful.
There's someone at home going, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Mhm.
But
Sometimes you are, bestowing your blessings upon people. That can happen.
It's all in the tone.
Yeah. Context is everything.
Mhm.
Me too, Lula.
but like you were saying, like Interstellar is like the closest we get to like real time travel, because they presume or assume or predict or hypothesize that you can go forward and not backwards.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So like accelerate your age and like be in a time ahead of everybody else,
Right.
but never be able to come back. That'd be pretty miserable.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
Okay, that leads me to one of my most favorite movies, which was Flight of the Navigator.
yes,
Nice.
yes, that came up in my thing too, and I was like, technically, yeah, that's a time travel movie too.
Absolutely, because he I guess is going so fast. It travels faster than the speed of light.
Yep.
Mhm.
Therefore, he ages, but he's able to come back. And it's the whole thing. I just love that movie growing up.
Movie magic.
Mhm.
Seriously.
Have you guys ever seen Time Bandits?
No.
No, but I think I've heard of it.
It's like a classic 80s It right now, this day and age, it wouldn't be made. Like it,
Oh, just like Tropic Thunder.
yeah, it crosses a
Now,
lot of
that is
lines.
a great movie. I almost watched that the other. I almost paid for Tropic Thunder the other night, and then I got
It's such a
tired.
good movie, but they could never make that movie now.
No, but yeah, so they think we can go forward. I always forget that guy's name. He's a scientist. He has long white hair. He's on everything.
Oh,
He's on,
Michio Kaku?
yeah, you go.
Yeah.
I was
see, I
listening
got
to
you.
him talk about it. Yep. See, I'm never going to remember that name, so I'm going to ask you every time. So be ready.
I'm on it.
He says that it's possible through Einstein's theory that we could go forward. And that doesn't sound as interesting. Because my first question to you guys is, if you could go back in time, where would you go and what would you do?
Ancient Egypt. I want to know how the pyramids were made, and I think that's just a fascinating piece of like history and time. Like they were so advanced for how far back in time that was.
Are you going to try to mess with anything?
No, God, no. I'd just sit there and I would just like stand in one spot and not even try to move, because then there's like the whole paradox of like you step on a bug and then all of a sudden time is changed forever, or like you interact with somebody and then you're never born because of the grandfather paradox.
It's dicey.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jamie?
Well, if my studies are correct, I think that Atlantis, probably a real place,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go back to that.
Okay. Go back to like Greek and Roman
I wanna
times
know
and see
exactly what do
Plato
they
and
know,
stuff.
what's the knowledge, where do they get it from, and how can we apply that? And then I would want to bring that back to today and apply that knowledge.
So you're going to alter stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Time cops are coming for you for sure.
Also a
Yeah.
great
Time cop? Oh yeah.
time travel movie.
Which
Time
one?
With John
They
Claude
go
Van Damme, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
They
think
go to
so.
Atlantis?
No, Time
No,
Cop.
Time Cop. We were saying the time cops are going to come after you if you
Mess with
meddle.
time.
I think it's so hard. I think I'd go back to like, I have a hard time between like middle to dark ages versus like
Ooh.
the Wild West. I think the Wild West would just be fun.
Love that movie that Seth MacFarlane he did oh man, A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But the Dark Ages would be super cool too, because like I haven't studied that and whatnot, but I mean nobody knows what happened during that span of time. Like there was no like art, there was no history, there was no nothing. It's just everything stood still and nothing happened. Or
That's
did
it.
it. Or did it.
Yep.
You're saying like during the Wild Wild West?
No,
the Dark Ages.
Dark Ages,
Oh.
no one wrote down anything in the Wild West. It's
As
all
you can tell, I got distracted by the fact that you were talking about a really boring movie. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't try.
fair enough.
That's fair.
That was real time daydreaming.
there is like a whole missing century, or more than a century. That's where I want to go. I want to figure out if like that's when they like absorbed all the information and hid it.
Which century is that?
The Dark Ages.
We still hung up on that.
Yo, come out of the cloud. How many edibles did you take before this?
It's just so boring. Why would you want to go back to that?
Well,
Nobody knows what happened.
We're gonna do a whole episode on it because there's a theory that the church and royalty changed the calendar to make that ruler at the time like the prophet ruler. So like there's like time technically missing, and then the suppression of all the information and stuff from that time. Because like Josh said, everything stands still. There's like no innovation. Like a religion doesn't advance. People are
almost
dumber.
as if secret societies went underground and then came out during the Enlightenment, much like cicadas.
I think it's like the second or third time you said cicadas. Are we waiting for something? Are you
Yeah,
trying to
what are you-
activate me? Am I gonna am I
Well, it's the
Is
year
this
of
our
the
trigger
double
word?
rude. There's just a whole lot going on esoterically speaking.
I know the crazy brood double
Yeah,
brood.
but like I don't think there's any it's not surprising that sometimes enlightenment goes dark for a while, it's like the yin
Mhm.
and the yang, but I mean maybe there is something to be found. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'll be really bored and I'll just sit there and watch some woman sew one of those weird circle things.
A doily.
Is that what that is? I have no idea.
I know. First of all, that's not sewn, but
What are you doing? What are you doing?
like
I think it's knitted.
something. It's
Oh,
definitely not sewn.
Whatever. I digress.
You guys are all
What I'm
cultured
saying
and
is,
everything.
because it's lacy. I would have never imagined that it was a doily you were talking of. But Josh, that's impressive that you were
I got
able.
you.
I mean, y'all are so connected. Dark ages, doilies, it's all bouncing around in there.
So Jamie, since you've been time traveling in real time,
Right now with you guys, yes.
yeah. What do you have for us
To the
today
dark
on time travel?
ages. Well, something I'm going to apply later. It's called revising.
Mm.
Okay. So when we started talking about doing an episode about time travel, I, of course, go to the consciousness, the idea of consciousness and how that affects everything and impacts everything, aka manifestation. And I've been doing a lot of research into manifestation recently, and there is someone named Neville Goddard, Neville Goddard. And there's his
Ooh.
picture right there with the quote. You are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. So Neville Goddard is all about imagining the person, the situation, imagining not that you want to be something in the future, but that you are actually that in the present moment right now. So if you desire to be wealthy, and he has a book entitled The Secret, or The Feeling is the Secret. So his whole thing is that you repeat to yourself, because you're trying to basically trick your subconscious into believing certain things that you may not be yet, but you want to be. Instead of saying to yourself, I will be rich. I will be rich. If you do that, then your subconscious knows that, being rich is always in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so the trick is to say, I am rich. But not just to say it to yourself over and over and over again, but you have to actually embody the feelings of that. And the best time to trick your subconscious is either when you are falling asleep or right when you're waking up. And so those are the best times to do these kinds of affirmations, and maybe listening to audio books or audio recordings of these meditations. That's what I've been doing. But to actually feel like you are that thing. So what can hold us back from that? Now I'm getting back into the time travel. What can keep you from believing that you are already rich, or that you are already living in a mansion, or whatever it is that you want to be? You want to be in love. You want to be married, whatever it is, what's holding you back from believing that about yourself? And that will be, for a lot of people, just your memories, your past experiences, where if you're not already wealthy, well, then you've lived probably in poverty, or at least you've lived paycheck to paycheck. So that's actually what your subconscious still believes. So even though you might say, I am wealthy, well, you're not feeling it really, because you don't have those past experiences. So what does Neville Goddard do? Part of the affirmations I've been listening to is called revising. And it's where, and I can go back and look at my notes to double check everything I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good on this. Essentially, you think about your day and how you would revise every moment of your day to align with what you want, what you believe about yourself to be for the better future.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back and double check. All right. So it says, number one way to do this is you've got to relax and visualize. And so this is where, if you meditate, then you already know how to get quiet and to breathe deeply and to start visualizing if you've meditated. If you haven't meditated, that to me, I believe this is one of the best ways to meditate. We've been told so much that when you meditate, you're supposed to just empty your brain, but then people have racing thoughts. And in my opinion, like, hey, might as well be thinking about something
Right.
it's impactful. So you can relax. And then you want to visualize the past event that you want to revise. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be that day, but as you do the past, you revise the past, then eventually you'll get to where you're only revising like the previous day, the previous hour, whatever. But you would go back and you would think about a past event as vividly as possible. And so when I say visualize, I don't just mean with your eyes, but actually imagine that you're there. So go through your 5 senses. What are you smelling, tasting, feeling, all of that. And then you want to identify the desired outcome. So you want to decide, how would that have, if you were already where you want to be, how would that have changed that moment? So you would imagine how you would have preferred the event to unfold and the feelings associated with that desired outcome. And that's the trick, is starting to have the emotions. So once you root into it and you ground into it with your 5 senses, starting to feel the emotions of it and revising that from something that was sad into something that was happy and satisfactory to your life. And then you want to rewrite the script. So you're going to mentally rewrite the scene in your mind, and you're going to change the dialogue, the actions, any of the elements of the event to reflect the new version that you want to manifest. And again, making sure that as you're rewriting that script, that you are still rooting into those 5 senses and feeling the emotions associated with that. And then you're going to want to repeat that in your mind several times, reinforcing it every time. And so you can say affirmations like, I'm so grateful for the positive outcome of the situation. I only attract favorable experiences into my life. Things like that. And then as you revise in the event, you want to feel now the gratitude, the joy, the relief, any other positive emotion, as if that scene had been replayed and manifested in your reality in that way. And then you want to let it go. That's that where you breathe it out. And then, the so mote it be.
Mhm.
That's the letting go. There it is. Amen. Whatever you want to do to say, yes, that is done. And then you don't want to dwell on the past or worry about the future at all. And you stay present in today's moment right now, in the present moment. Stay present in the present moment, basically. And that's how you manifest a better, not just future, but reality today, is by time traveling to the past, to anything you want to fix, fixing it, and that will impact your present. So,
Damn.
what do you think about that?
That's time traveling without a time machine.
Yeah. It's time traveling in your head.
The hassle of packing.
Time travel light.
Yeah.
Boho
See?
travel.
It's free. You can do it from the privacy of your own bed. It doesn't even matter if someone is with you in that bed. You can do it on your own. You don't have to tell anyone. And any kind of like magic, if anyone's done any magic, you know that the fewer people that know, then the more powerful it can be. So if you have any doubters or anyone in your life who might doubt what you're doing, you need to not tell them. And this is between your own head, and you know what you can do. And once you start experiencing the fruits of this, you will want to do it all the time.
And then I could go back in time and I could change that person's mind and make them believe me. So then,
Boom. There
Lee,
you go.
here you are. You're a believer
Out here
now.
manipulating.
well, so in all reality, like, that concept is what a lot of successful people do, whether they're athletes
Right?
or actors. You think about like an actor. What does an actor do? He sits there and just says the same thing over and over
Mhm.
until he feels or she feels like this role is me. I am this role. Like,
Yeah, you can tell the difference between a good actor and an actor who's not good at all. And it's not the words that are coming out of their mouths, but it's the emotions behind the words. You know if someone's fake about it or not, you know?
Yep.
And I think to be really successful, you really do have to have a belief in yourself that I'm going to be successful.
Absolutely.
And that's really what this is. And rewriting anything where you weren't successful and still believing it about yourself that you can, because plenty of people, you know, will lose a job or lose a lot of money or whatever, and then go on to still be successful. And more than likely, those people just had the complete belief in themselves that they were going to do it no matter what.
Yeah. You just got to believe in yourself.
Yeah. And as an athlete, like that was almost every day part of training. Pour one out.
Pour one in me.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm not pouring it out.
I was about to literally pour one on the floor. But I was like, no, why? No, fuck no.
Hit my dog.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But I will say to our listeners, Neville Goddard is the real deal. If you want to know how to manifest, read The Feeling is a Secret, or The Secret is a Feeling, one of those two. But I will tell you for sure, Neville, he's the man.
Do you know, I mean, I don't think you would, and if you do, I'd be very surprised.
What? God,
do you know if it had anything to do with any kind of like government?
Like CIA things?
Like CIA, stuff like that?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. But speaking of CIA, it does go along with the whole Bob Monroe Institute. And it wouldn't surprise me if Neville Goddard and all those folks kind of ran around the same group.
Just astral project into each other.
Project Stargate and stuff,
Yeah, and I know we want to do a standalone episode on that, so that'll be interesting. Maybe when I'm researching it, we'll find out if there's any correlation. But
on the Monroe Institute?
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, if there's a big overlap.
There's a lot to that. I was really like, I know a little bit about it, so when you said it, I was like, yeah, cool. And then I looked into it a little bit myself, and I was like, oh, like this is.
Yeah, and the whole reason I said CIA, the Monroe Institute's like everything's on the CIA's website, and so I'm looking forward to doing a big episode on that.
That would be super cool.
Hell yeah!
And people can learn to astral project for free.
You heard it here first.
Away for free. Yeah. Just buy a T-shirt or something.
There we go. Hey, T-shirts.
Josh, T-shirt here.
Oh man, these T-shirts are so like really, really comfy. I've been saying it to these guys for weeks. Well, probably a week since I've got it, and it's hands down one of the most comfiest T-shirts I've ever owned, and the quality is really there. So pick up one in our link tree and go to our shop and pick out whatever kind of merch you want. We got coffee mugs, everything, phone cases. And then as we progress and we get more art and whatnot, we'll definitely be like uploading stuff up there. I think we've got a pickle one in the works, which would be pretty neat.
To work on a pickle one. Yeah, I got to figure out how to make that on, like, so it could go on like the breast of the shirt.
I go all Beavis and Butthead. I'm like, he said breast.
Don't worry, I thought it. I just
that could be it. It could be a ghost pickle, and it could just say boobs. Like boo.
We're so juvenile.
We just said celebrities and actors mentally time travel. What about the ones that are on that like baby blood that live forever?
Oh, Pizzagate and the oh man, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like they get it from baby's blood and stuff like that.
Or like they actually know like
adrenochrome.
Oh yeah. But like for real, foreskin, they do take out like the blood from that.
Oh man.
Which is like
that's for real. I thought that was a joke.
Wait, what?
Yeah, people do that. They take like the foreskin.
Yeah.
And
I'm not kidding you. Jennifer Aniston talks about it on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
That they take foreskin and like what do they do? Like weird rituals?
No, they take all like the baby blood out of it and they use it as a moisturizer. I'm not kidding you. Lee,
that sounds like some Gwyneth Paltrow goof thing.
I thought that was made up. And then I saw the clip and I was like, what the
whether it's made up or not, right?
No, it's real. It was a real clip.
this is the SSOS. I'm not here to tell you whether things are real or not.
Absolutely not.
But what I was gonna say is that, like, okay, you could poo-poo that and be like, that's really gross. But like, there are multiple people that when my wife was pregnant were talking about like eating the placenta.
I heard that was like supposed to be like super nutritional and like very like spiritual-esque thing. I'm like, nah, dude, fuck all that. No, I'm good.
No, absolutely not. There's no way. Like, it's like that's how is that not cannibalism? First of all,
Man. I need to be high for that.
Yeah, that's just gross.
Oh! It's Sandra Bullock.
Oh, sorry, Jennifer Aniston.
Getting a penis facial
Is a banana a metabolism booster?
That's something else.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would look up on Pornhub.
What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
Tell Oprah this what's on her face.
She knows.
She knows.
She knows. There were a couple protesters about it because they are cells from baby foreskin.
Oh, baby foreskin.
That makes it better.
Yeah, that's different. I thought it was some grown ass man. Okay, does it work?
So yes, human foreskin has actually been used in growth factors. There's a lot of research on it. It's been shown to increase collagen production. It'll fill in all those lines and wrinkles.
It's supposed to tighten the skin. Not baby penis foreskin.
I missed that. I was Googling. We're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know.
Can't even say it.
It's Spotify, so just keep going. We'll just get censored.
It's fine. This is fine. This is what we're here for.
Before we become anything anyway.
I went from farts are funny to
just cum shots and
I missed
profanity.
Because you said penis facial.
You did say that.
So time traveling celebrities.
Oh my god!
Yeah, here. Let's distract.
Oh my god! I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
Oh man!
Boom! Time traveling celebrities.
And now I'm going to be revising later. Okay, that's not real. It's not real.
Yeah, they're pictures.
Yeah, it's just pictures of people that like in the past look like celebrities nowadays, but like you can't even say that that's not like very uncanny. Like that dude looks just like Andy Samberg and Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe.
That's a weird one. That one's super weird.
I saw it in that left picture. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it just looks like Johnny Depp from that movie Public Enemies.
It does.
It does. But the lips are so close, and that stare.
And the mustache. If Johnny Depp's mustache was that thin right now, he'd just be this guy.
They would look absolutely identical.
That's weird. Yeah.
Like his jawline and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds that Andy Samberg and Daniel Radcliffe know each other for like
that's weird
100 years?
Dude, that would be so wild.
Like Samberg, like completely the same.
I would love to see Andy Samberg and Daniel Radcliffe in a movie, though.
Yes.
I think it would be hilarious.
Oh, what was the name of that movie? Oh, man. Daniel Radcliffe did a movie.
Swiss Army Man?
Yes. That was it.
You don't even have to say anything.
I know. It's amazing. How does this happen?
Ridiculous.
Oh, my God. That's so perfect. But yes, if you have not seen that movie and you're listening to this, finish this and then go watch that movie.
Wait, what is it called?
Swiss Army Man. So Daniel Radcliffe, like he pretty much is like a deceased corpse, and he just has the ability to like get anything out of his body. So this guy is in the woods and he needs shelter and like a boat motor and a bunch of other stuff, and like Daniel Radcliffe just turns into these things.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It's almost like a funnier like Donnie Darko, where like you're bordering the line of like, is he really seeing this? Is he alive? Is he dead? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So Daniel Radcliffe is essentially a human Swiss Army knife.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, and then we got Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake.
Oh, come on.
I know you might have to zoom in on the Jay-Z one, but it looks like him from like a Hard Knock video.
Right.
Other man looks just like Justin Timberlake.
Just looks very upset.
It's bizarre.
It's like you couldn't like remember like back in these like old times that people were like terrified to smile in pictures.
Oh, that's true.
It was like uncouth. Yeah, you're not supposed to do
Yeah, it was like you couldn't do it, or like they thought it would mess up like the photography or whatever. Or I could be completely wrong.
They also like took pictures of their dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Weirdly posed their dead relatives next to them. Or like,
oh yeah. Those pictures
Mhm.
creep me out.
My roommate
I do
Vic,
like
he
looking
said
at
like
it.
when he dies, he wants to be posted up just so like his homies can come up. He's like, I just want one more party. And like,
That's so funny.
really funny.
Okay, so Steve was Steven.
Oh yeah,
Steve,
yeah, yeah.
yep, Steve Martin and this apparently sassy grandma.
Steve Martin's sassy. He
Yeah.
could definitely
He
like
is-
have female energy
yeah.
in his past lives.
And I think Nicolas Cage is a vampire. Let's just get this
I
out here right
agree.
now.
I agree with that.
I believe so.
Him and Keanu Reeves, like I just think they are like time traveling
Mhm.
people, vampires for
Mhm.
sure. Like
Keanu
they just
Reeves,
don't
too.
age.
And Paul Rudd.
Yeah, yeah.
He looks younger than he did 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Oh, I just watched the movie Role Models, and I was like, dude, Paul Rudd looks the exact same as he does in Ant-Man now.
I love that movie.
It's such
Speaking of like stories of people out of time, I have a pretty cool story.
Oh, I'm so
Okay,
ready
let
for
me
this
hear it.
one. Does it involve pickles?
No, but we could pretend.
Okay, cool.
Just insert pickle here like a Mad Lib. So the year is 1999. So like 100 years ago. It feels like it.
I know.
I'm going to derail us again.
We were going to
But-
party like it was 1999. Like that was so wild and ahead of our time.
I know.
No, so
My daughter calls it the 1900s, and it's a stab every time she says it. Like, yeah, you know, when you were alive in the 1900s.
Like, yep. I was. We were writing letters with quill, ink, and pen. 'Twas the night.
this is so cute.
I was alive during the Pony Express.
When you were alive in the 1900s.
Yeah, totally.
Just writing Civil War-esque letters, but like,
Dear Delilah, for
how
today,
doth it do in New York City?
it's a big world, but I shall return. All right, well, it's not that long ago, okay? It's 1998 on a radio show called Coast to Coast AM. I don't know if
It was on AM. That's what we did it in the 1900s.
That's what we did in the
Yep.
1900s. We had
So-
AM. No FM was
Now,
invented yet.
Coast to
Oh.
Coast AM.
to explain what Coast to Coast AM was, it was an AM radio station.
I was going to say, like AM in the morning? Nope. That's not what we're talking about. You
No,
young-
but it was also on at middle of the night.
Wow.
But it was on, and
It's
like,
probably 11 p.m. though, because the AM definitely stands for the radio station, right? Not AM morning, right?
no,
No,
but it was on also.
It
Depending
just
on where you
coincided
are,
that they were
yeah,
the same thing.
times,
Right.
8 a.m. But the host was Art Bell, who was the man.
Shout out Art Bell.
Art Bell. So he would take guests and
Pour
we
one
got
out
mad
for Art
shout
Bell.
outs.
He's dead.
He's dead now. R.I.P.
Under suspicious circumstances.
Of course.
Ooh.
Because that one UFO recording we'll have to play one day.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Another episode.
No.
Yeah. On the show, you would call in, or people would call in, or you have guests, or he would just have like a topic he was talking about within like the paranormal, supernatural, like all the stuff we do. But he did this thing called open lines. And one of the times on open lines, he got a fax. Again, old timey alert.
Yeah.
You got a fucking fax. If you don't know what a fax is, you take a piece of paper and you put it in a machine, and the person on the other side of the line gets a copy of said paper.
It's like a
Not the
reverse
same
printer. Pixels.
Right.
I do remember.
And it would have to go through your phone line, right?
Oh yeah, the weird dial-up robot sex noise. Yeah.
On one of those episodes, someone gave him a fax and he read it on the air. There's actually two faxes, so I'm going to read them both verbatim.
Okay.
type.
How far apart were these in time? Do you
2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Okay, so the fact starts. Dear Art, I had to fax when I heard other time travelers calling in from any time past 2500 AD. Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034. Offshoots of certain successful fusion reactors research allowed scientists at CERN to produce the world's first singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities inside of a magnetic field. By alternating the speed and direction, the rotation, you can travel both forward and back in time. So this guy could do both. Time itself could be understood as connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel back upon your line. When you turn off the singularity engine, you create a new timeline. Due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there in that present time. In other words, you create another universe. Kind of like, Jamie, like you were saying, if you think back and you kind of redo all your thoughts, you end up changing
a new
the
timeline
outcome.
for yourself. Yeah.
Yep.
This is all related. This is
back to the facts. To go back to your original timeline, you must travel a split second back further and then immediately throw the engine into forward without turning it off. Some interesting outcomes of this are you meet yourself. He says he's done this often, even taking a younger version of himself along rides before returning him back to the new timeline and him returning back to his original timeline. You alter history in the new universe that you just created. Most of the time, the changes are subtle. Sometimes you notice a car model that exists or books that weren't out yet. And so in this sentence, this is verbatim. It's very misworded, so I don't know if the transcript was messed up or Art heard it weird when he got it. But so one of the things it says, the oldest one was a skyscraper that wasn't built in the near favorite store of mine in New York. So
is he talking about the World Trade Center?
I don't know, but he says like favorite store. I don't know if like there was a store in the place of, or a skyscraper in the place of the store he thought would be there, or like.
Can you repeat it one more time for me?
The oldest one was a skyscraper that wasn't built in a near favorite store of mine in New York.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like they're just some things are off. Like there's
like the Mandela effect.
Yeah, exactly. There's CVS on this corner, but in the other timeline, it's a Walgreens.
Yeah. Back to the facts. Interestingly, when you time travel, you must compensate for the orbit of the Earth. Since the time machine doesn't move, you must adjust the engines to remain on the planet when you turn it off. So essentially saying like, if you don't calculate your like coordinates to where the Earth is going to be in its rotation, you will end up in space and fall off the face of the Earth.
Kind of like a quarterback throwing the football.
Yeah, like if you were going to stand on that football, you'd have to predict where it is and like jump to where it was.
Exactly. Not where it is.
It's like a lot of math. I would be terrible at time travel.
Also, can I just say that may have been my first sports analogy ever.
Look at you.
That was perfect.
Sporting it up. Sport?
I'm all football around here all the time. I'm not. That was a lie.
Here we go, back to the facts. Unfortunately, it was also discovered that going forward in time from my 2036 hit a brick wall in the year 2564. Everyone who has ever been there has reported nothing exists. When the machine is turned off, you find yourself surrounded by blackness and silence.
So space.
Yeah, or like the infinite void.
You stare at it, it stares back at you.
Now, most time travelers are trying to find out where the new line went bad by going to the past, creating a new universe, and proceeding to the future to see if the same thing happens in 2564. It appears the line went bad in the year 2000. I am here now in this time to test a few theories before going forward. Now, for the future you might want to know about. 1. Y2K is a disaster. Many people die on the highways when they freeze to death trying to get to warmer weather.
Did not happen.
No. We'll talk about.
Okay, it was a very scary time.
We'll talk about potential outcomes and why that didn't happen and why he was wrong or whatever. Two, the government tries to keep power by instituting martial law, but it all collapses when their efforts to bring the power back fails. Three, a power facility in Denver was able to restart itself, but was mobbed by hundreds of thousands of people and destroyed. This convinces most that maybe we shouldn't bring the old system back online. 4, a few years later, a communal government system is developed after a few twists to the Constitution. He goes on to say, China retakes Taiwan, Russia is covered in nuclear snow from a collapsed reactor, Israel wins its largest battle of his lifetime. And he goes on to say, Art, the reason why I'm here now is I believe a nuclear war set off by Iraq in the Middle East war with Israel might have something to do with the damaged timeline. I will test my theory and I'll get back to you. Please pray that we discover the reason why there's no apparent future after 2564. And that's the end of that facts.
Damn.
So Art, obviously is like looking around. He is like waiting for this. He brings it up over and over. And then it goes off the air for the show for a little while. And then when he comes back, this is when he gets another fax. So this fax reads, Dear Mr. Bell, I am glad you're back. I faxed the information to you this day before you left the air. I wanted to make sure it wasn't lost in the shuffle, so I'm sending you a gift. If you have already seen this, please accept my apologies. If you choose to make this public, please do not publish my fax number. I had to fax when I heard the other time travelers calling in from the recent time. In fact, the year 2500 AD. I sent this fax with the opening on July 29th, 1998. As I said, I am a time traveler. I have been on this world line since April of this year, and I plan to leave soon. Typically, time travelers do not purposely affect the world lines they visit. However, this mission is unusually long, and I have grown attached to some of the people I have met here. Anyway, for my own reasons, I have decided to help this world line by sharing information about the future with people in the hopes that it will help their future. I am contacting you for the same reason. Unfortunately, there is no historical reference to your program in my world line. I believe you can change your future by creating one now. Some of the information presented on your program may be invaluable to upline researchers. I suggest you isolate programs concentrated on military technology and new physics theories. Transcribe these programs and put them in a safe place away from the box. No idea what the box is. I recommend someplace in the Midwest. I also urge you to reconsider your paranoia to the Russians. They are not preparing for war with the average U.S. citizen. They are preparing for war with U.S. government. They will eventually save this country and save the lives of millions of Americans. I realize my claims are difficult to accept, so I will send the following once I know you have received this fax. A few pages from the operations manual of my time machine and a few colored photographs of my vehicle. If you wish to contact me, I will be happy to share with you the nature of time and physics and the physics of time travel and some of the events of your future. End. Art never got pictures or anything, a manual or anything.
Okay, so the whole Russian thing and that they're going to save us, is this where the QAnon conspiracies with Trump come from?
I don't think so, but this goes on. This isn't completely done yet, but I don't think that's where the QAnon, I think that's a whole nother
thing.
Yeah, whatever that string, whatever you want to pull.
Right.
So,
but I mean, like, the whole part about like Iran and Israel and everybody in the Middle East doing like nuclear war and shit, like that's a real possibility now. like especially nowadays, like with everything that's going on in Gaza and Palestine and everything.
And if every time you go back, you create a new timeline, like maybe you're just delaying these things or accelerating them, or like Y2K was different. So like maybe Y2K wasn't stoppable, but like it was gonna be way worse, like people had predicted beforehand.
Or maybe it's like these people, like since they couldn't like go any farther past than what 25,000 or 2,500 AD or whatever.
25. Yeah, he's worried about going past 2,500.
Yeah, so like they couldn't go past there because it was just nothing but void and darkness and whatnot. But like, what if it was caused by so many people trying to time travel and they were just making all these different splits in reality and time?
So you're just like in a gap in between because there's just so many spaces. Or
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Or like we've talked about before, like that's what 500 years in the future. If we are actually as a human race like advancing, maybe we don't have the physical anymore anyway. So you're showing up in a physical body in a place where like we're just all ethereal and like supercomputers.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
So who knows?
If that's like the shift,
Yeah. Either way, this is just the facts. If I'll hold it, people want to read them.
Man, Coast to Coast was so
probably
dope.
It's probably too tiny for people. They're probably up on their screens. Like I said, radio silence for a couple of years. In the year 2000, in November, someone calling themselves Time Traveler Zero logged into an obscure discussion, old-timey alert, on a forum.
Oh, man.
Really?
Like old 4chan?
Yeah, it was, I don't remember what the name of it was, but yeah, it reads like Reddit. It really is like Reddit. So he turns up on one of these things saying, "Greetings, I am a time traveler from the year 2036. I am on my way home after getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. That's that bad boy right there, man.
Oh man, slaps top of that. You could fit so many floppy disks in this.
Ooh. Just blowing it. Right. So he says, "My time travel machine is a stationary mass temporal displacement unit manufactured by General Electric. The unit is powered by 2 top-spin dual positive singularities that produce a standoff offset Tiplar sinusoid."
I'm just picturing a giant washing machine.
The top spin, dual positive singularities.
I bet you your whites come out so clean.
Just vaporized. He goes on to say, "I'll be happy to add pictures of my unit." Not my unit. The unit.
The unit.
So, this is what he says is the inside of his time machine. So you see like a backseat view looking at the cockpit. There's actually a shotgun right next to the seat, if you see it there.
Right. Just in case, man, them dinosaurs.
Yeah, he'll explain why. And then I think one of the best pictures is this top right. So all that like hazard yellow looking stuff. Yeah. That's the actual time machine unit, he said.
Reminds me of the Ghostbusters.
I was just about to say that, the containment thing.
Yeah. So between November of 2000 and March of 2001, he would go on to answer questions. And then that's when he became known as John Titor. At one point, he even interviewed on a talk radio show. He goes on the show, he describes the vehicle in detail. Also then goes and posts the manual to said time machine. And this is part of the manual. This little insignia in the middle is his like military unit. The document cover head, and then like the schematics for a supposed time machine. So like I said, he described it as a stationary mass temporal displacement unit. It has 2 magnets housed in a dual micro singularity. It has an electron ejection manifold to alter mass and gravity micro singularities, a cool and X-ray venting system, gravity sensors and a variable gravity lock, 4 main Cassium clocks, and 3 main computers.
Cool. Good for him.
Yep.
Sounds like the Mercedes of time machines.
Right? So he claims that he's an American soldier from the year 2036. He's based out of Tampa, Florida. He said that he was assigned to a governmental time travel project and that the project was to send him back to 1975 to get the IBM 1500, which he needed to debug legacy computer programs that existed in 2036.
So you needed an old-ass computer to fix new technology. Okay, cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, it does track because it's a reference to the Unix year 2038 problem, which is a actual problem. So our computers are set to, I don't know, it's like megs and gigabyte things or whatever, but the digits only go so far, which calculates to the year 2038. Anything before that, you need to add a whole new system to the computers.
So this is why we're pushing AI so hard,
right?
Maybe so.
He attempted to provide proof by describing unpublicized features of the 5100. 5100. He said it has the ability to emulate older programs in older languages. Inside the IBM mainframes, the company never released this information because they were worried about what their competitors would do with that.
So talking about Apple?
Probably, yeah. Because imagine like Apple get their hands on it, time traveling all over the place.
The iTime.
You only go back like a couple minutes until you get the upgrade.
Right.
Like shit, I only got a fucking 12. I can only go back 12 minutes.
Or it like you do it and then it gets you stuck in the past because like it's like new cell phones, like it just crafts out like, until you get a new phone.
Take update or whatever this shit is. So he says his actual target was 1975, like he said, but he was making a stopover in the year 2000 for personal reasons. He says a civil war in the United States triggered a nuclear exchange with Russia in 2015, which killed 3 million people, is his estimate. The aftermath playing out like some apocalyptic movie we've all seen before.
So it sounds like Fallout.
Yeah. Besides an American Civil War and a Third World War, he goes on to predict like a number of like significant things. He says that America will wage war on Iraq, claiming that Iraq has nuclear weapons.
Been there, done
he
that.
made this statement before we invaded Iraq. He also said that there was going to be no weapons found. He said that war would erupt between Israel and the Arab neighbors, and there would be weapons of mass destruction used in that one. Korea, Taiwan, Japan will all be annexed by China as the West becomes unstable. In the year 2000, CERN will lay foundations for time travel, like we talked about. In the year 2001, CERN announced that they were able to make small black holes.
Which is, I'm sure, is a thing now.
But well, no, they really did do. That's what I'm saying. So he predicted they would get like the foundations in 2000. And in 2001, they released papers saying that they've like figured out how to open black holes.
Oh, we got to do a whole episode on CERN.
Yes.
I mean, if that's 23 years ago, what have they done now?
Ghost particles and finding higher dimensions and other things.
Yeah. He describes mad cow disease, and he says that the United States is going to underplay it as like not a threat to the mainland United States.
Didn't we do that?
Yes.
And then swine flu, pretty much.
He says that genetically modified food will produce hybrid seeds and will have a detrimental effect on the population's health.
Sounds like 3D printed food and stuff like that, because they started doing all that stuff and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we can't 3D print meat.
He says that a bunch of our constitutional civil rights change, and that the government will assume on the behalf of its citizens that they would forfeit some of their freedoms for security.
Oh, weird. I feel like that's already happened.
Yeah. And he also goes on to say that we will be judged harshly in the future. He gives like a little bio. He repeats that it's 2036. He says he lives in Florida with his family. He's stationed on an army base in Tampa. Survivors grew closer and they're centered around family and community. He says he can't imagine living more than a few hundred miles away from his parents. He says there's no large industrial complex. He's like, there's nothing creating mass useless amounts of food or recreational items. Food and livestock are grown locally. People spend much more time reading, talking together, face to face. Religion is taken seriously, and people could multiply and divide in their heads. So, I don't know. Do we believe him?
I wouldn't necessarily say I believe him, but like some of the things that he's like theorized has come to pass, or like in some form, way, or shape. But I mean, like you could sit there and say that, but like I could sit here and be like, in 15 years, Texas is going to secede, or half of California is going to be underwater, type deal thing, or something.
Not California, but Texas can succeed.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like it's like
totally
Nostradamus, pretty much
stuff that like is already on the precipice of happening. Mm-hmm. Like there's tensions between countries. You can say like
just sounds like time edging.
Yeah. He goes on also to tell some things that he recommends people should do now because of the way people view us in the future. Mm-hmm. So he says you should learn basic sanitation. You should learn how to shoot and clean a gun. He's like, consider what you would bring with you if you had to leave your home in 10 minutes and never return. So prepper think. Mm-hmm. On these forums, people asked him to take them with him, and he responded. And he describes what they would have to go through on a journey through time. He says, please be aware, the displacement unit moves through time, not space. First, we will be driving in a current vehicle. So that vehicle you saw the pictures of was a Chevy truck of that time period. The unit is 500 pounds. So it needs a big 4-wheel vehicle. But you need to be able to drive to your destination because you don't travel through space, you travel through time. So if you want to be in Atlanta in 2036, like you have to be in Atlanta now before you travel.
Okay.
Wait, what?
So imagine you were standing in one spot and 100 years flies past you. And you're still standing in that same spot.
That is like Interstellar.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like you're just standing in one spot and everything else is moving past you, but you haven't physically moved from that spot. So like whenever you get to that time or whatever, you're still in like North Carolina or wherever. It's just time has moved past you.
He says he's going to have to drive to Minnesota to sell the current vehicle he has and get something that's current for the year 1975. So he's got to go find like a vintage vehicle to put this thing in so he can go to 1975. But then he has to take that vehicle and drive back to Tampa because that's where he wants to be when he time travels. He says that it could get hot and stuffy. So he also says you reach 1.5 to 2 Gs consistently through the travel.
Oh, like the force of travel, like the G force.
Like whatever you're feeling, time, gravity. I guess probably more gravity than actual physical movement.
Yeah, because
you're warping gravity around you.
Yeah,
to move.
That's probably what the magnets are for.
Yeah, that's what he says, that you create this singularity and you kind of go through that singularity or move with that singularity. Does he say anything else more about the travel? No, he just says that you need to bring a rebreather or oxygen system.
Yeah.
So fuck you. I'm not going. I guess it's too much already. We carry all this shit. Why does
he have a shotgun though?
He does answer that question in the forums. Like it could be hostile. So where you pop up, he says you don't know what the year is like or anything. So
he's always got that thing on him.
Yeah.
I can heat.
you can find a lot of this information at the timetravelinstitute.com. That's a thing. Like his whole shit's listed there. All the
Really? Okay.
faxes, all the forum things, all the pictures.
Interesting.
He communicated with this woman, Pamela, and that's how he got all this information. And he, before disappearing, he said that only she would recognize the secret song for when he returned to believe that someone was him. And she also states that she got a piece of the 5100 IBM computer,
Really?
like label mailed to her without a return address, but it was postmarked from Orlando. And that's it. And then you can go online and research, like people, there's like a million, obviously, like theories, and people retrace the timelines to make like everything line up, and it's pretty intense.
Well, this very much reminds me, maybe I'm mixing up stories here, but I don't think so. I don't think I am. The Mothman prophecies, where the man comes through the computer.
Indrid Cole, yeah.
Yes, comes through like the computer to communicate, and he's a time traveler, correct?
You know,
Sorta, yeah.
Indrid Cole is not like he's a physical
like
person. There is a story about time traveling where there's like a group of people living in a house that are communicating through a computer to a group of people in the past that were in that spot and
Maybe
in the
I'm
future.
convoluting the two, but yes, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, that's another pretty crazy one. I almost chose that one.
Interesting.
The problem is for 1998 and 2000, like he's got a lot of like the tech stuff, but if he was a computer guy or like a scientist, he probably has that shit anyway. The layman, I doubt it.
You know, I'm like, I lived through Y2K. Everything was fine. Well, yeah, maybe everything was fine on this timeline, but maybe that's because the time traveler fixed it. You know, there's a lot of stuff that could have gone wrong that, you know, I mean, let's admit, like with Russia and Ukraine, my God, I thought they would have blown the world up.
Yeah, well, they're still going.
Israel, like, you know, like
I was 8 years old during Y2K. Like I remember like everybody like freaking out about it and stuff. I'm just like, well, I'm just 8 years old. I just want to play Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I was 25, so I knew. Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I just remember my like parents and my grandma and everybody like freaking out, like, oh man, all of like technology is gonna crash and like all this doomsday prepping and whatnot.
And it was weird. It was weird to me, truthfully, how it was so, you know, it was fatalistic, the whole thing. And then there was nothing. There was no problem at all. Man, I mean, either we really miscalculated or something did help.
A lot of the computers, like the important stuff, they were able to fix and change the mistake. There was some stuff that was lost. They did lose information.
Oh, damn.
But it wasn't the global collapse that everyone was saying. Yeah. Like people were literally like biting their nails as the ball dropped, and we're like, "It's just literally going to be the end of everything."
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Could have been that. Like the electrical grid could have gone down, and the water and all that stuff. I mean, that's essentially what you worry about with like a solar flare, like a EMF attack or something.
Well, frying everything.
Yeah.
Is that also what fucking the Mandela effect is?
Could be. And then there's the whole thing about like 2012 where like the world technically did end and we all jumped consciousness or whatever, and then that's why some things are different, at least a smidge different than what they were.
That's true. Like the Mayan calendar ended, right?
Also, who knows where their calendar really technically ended up and what their version of the end of the world is.
Right. Yeah, I don't know much about Mayan myth and lore, but I don't know what their end times story would be.
All right, so you guys want to hear one more?
Yeah.
It's real short. It's just like a story about a time traveler. Not nearly as detailed as this guy on like internet forums and shit.
Y2K.
Yeah. So this dude's name was Andrew Carlson. So his story begins when he suddenly emerges out of nowhere again in the early 2000s with no records of his account before this existence. So just poof. Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm out of nowhere. But he ends up turning $800 into $350 million.
What?
Oh, I've heard about this guy. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Good for him.
Right?
Hey, man, I would do the same thing if I was time traveling. I'd be out here trying to get that bag.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, it just seems like he knows exactly what the stocks are doing. He knows like right before stuff's going to boom or tank. Obviously draws a lot of suspicion. So he gets like investigated for a while. They can't pin him on anything. No one can prove that he's getting information anywhere. But they finally are like, you have to be getting information from somewhere.
There's just no other way. You have to be getting information.
So they arrest him on fraud charges. He defends himself and says, like, straight up, I'm a time traveler. I'm sorry.
Because that holds up in a court of law.
That's literally one of the things I read. Said that's exactly what it interjects. It says because that holds up in the court of law.
Stop it.
Literally, it had the little sidebar. Yeah. But he would provide. He tried to like bribe the investigators with information. He said he would provide them with the cure for AIDS. He said he would provide them with the location of Osama bin Laden. He also claimed that he could give them like information on scientific breakthroughs and like, you know, all the shit you would brag about,
right?
If you're a fucking time traveler,
I mean,
right?
Come on now.
So he's in jail. They got him. No one can say like, "Hey, that's my brother. That's my son," or "I know that guy."
He wasn't born yet,
right? He's just there. His first records are like being fingerprinted and booked into jail. Goes through a bunch of bullshit in jail, of course. Right before like a really important hearing, he gets his bail posted by an anonymous person, $1 million bail, and disappears.
Damn.
Never heard from him again. Done. Time traveler out. But like this shit, like it's on. It's
Marty McFly'd it back somewhere.
Pretty much.
It's here, yo. He fucking did it, and like he either offed himself, and they don't want to like admit that he killed himself in the jail cell, or he actually got out.
That's wild.
I hope he got out.
How do you just
imagine that money is like
completely
that important in that year? But maybe it is. Maybe he buried it somewhere.
I was about to say, like, if he's like really time traveling to like get $350 million, then like how much is money worth in his time?
Yeah, the $3.
It could go either way.
He just gets home and it's just a bunch of Monopoly money because he's just trying to play future Monopoly.
If it's like John Titor said, though, money might be either completely nothing, like you said, or it might be really valuable because like only a few people have it.
Could be.
But
just like when people thought toilet paper was going to be valuable during COVID.
Yeah. Or just the antiquity of it. It's like here.
Ooh,
you know,
I've got
all
this
the money
money
from
printed from blah, blah, blah
yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Like quarters,
Yeah.
pennies, yeah.
He's just a very like into like money, collecting like certain bills of like serial numbers and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a wall. He just keeps going back, and like there's like people suffering in the past because he stole their money, and he's just hanging it like wallpaper for him.
My first dollar from 1989.
Yeah. He's just got them in order with serial number and year all over his house.
Well, if I were him and I could time travel and I had that much money, I'd skip town to a different time period where the money is still necessary, but you just won't get in trouble for it because they don't know you.
Maybe he was just time traveling on vacation and he's like, yo, I just need a couple of bucks.
I mean, really. So what year did this happen?
2000.
So he could have gone back to the 1960s.
Yeah. Where money was a lot more. Yeah. Damn.
You
Let's see,
know?
350 million in 1960s money. I feel like that was a lot more than 350 million.
Yeah, and if you went back to like the early 90s and you had like you could buy like 1 billion houses. They were giving away houses in the early 90s.
Right? Oh man,
you
that'd
get
be wild.
You get a house.
Yeah, I was looking at something. It was like a 3 or 4 bedroom 2-story house was like $5,000, like in the 80s, 90s.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm sure, especially out like in the middle.
That was the lot. I think it was more than that.
In New York, it was more than that, but I'm sure if you were out in some of the, because I look at houses now, like if you want to move to the middle of nowhere, you could get a house for like 30,000.
40, 50 would be, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but what would that be in 1990? It'd be like 10,000.
Maybe it was like the like 60s or 70s or whatever. But I remember seeing it was like dirt cheap. I was like, God dang, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
But then out here in the Midwest, we have like complete towns that and like houses that are just like abandoned.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Really?
That's so cool.
Yeah, especially out here, like in like North Dakota, like during like the oil boom and stuff like that, because like everybody and their mom came out here, and then now that like the oil, it's still here, but not as profitable and good as it was. But like, there's whole towns and houses that are just abandoned. I've been watching a lot of like spelunking videos, like urban spelunking and stuff like that. I've gone down that rabbit hole.
That's a nope for me, dog.
Oh yeah, especially like in Florida, where then like you run into like people that like live in these weird off grid spots.
I saw a video where they were like, and it wasn't even like
they were like underground in like a silo or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was like a sewer or like a connection between like old buildings, and it's literally pitch black. And there's like a tweaker down there, like just hanging out.
I know, that's how you get murdered.
And this is called urban spelunking?
Something like that, yeah.
Urban exploring / spelunking.
You're just like exploring like
rappelling into caves. But
you're just like exploring like old abandoned houses and stuff like that, or just like abandoned mansions and just anything that's abandoned. You're just like walking in there, and then all of a sudden you just like get shivved by a homeless person or a tweaker.
Sounds like fun.
No, I'm good. I'll just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
I'm just thinking of like the ghosts and stuff that'd be in there.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Well, I guess we'll see how it plays out. 2035 really isn't that far away. Now that like I have my kid and everything, like every time we go to a doctor's appointment or something, it has like, oh, your son will like graduate high school in like 2049 or 48 or some shit like that. I'm like, holy fuck, I don't
handle that stuff well.
I can't even fathom tomorrow, let alone think
the math doesn't
the future.
That's wild.
I want to know. So I wish there was a way to like leave like a time capsule for a time traveler, like and then like you'd be able to like go back to it and be like, oh shit, look, like the feather came out, like I knew he was here. So you can like know. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I've seen people communicate with like Bigfoot like that. Like they leave gifts.
Really?
Bigfoot takes the gifts and then like we'll leave like flowers or something.
Maybe that's just the Fae.
Fae too. I can't wait to do an episode on Fae.
Oh man, that would be so wild. Those mischievous bastards.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Oh, have we picked a next episode that we're gonna do?
Nope, I don't think so. Or did we?
I think we were gonna do cursed or haunted objects.
Yeah, we had that on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be dope. My wife's a cursed object.
Don't let her hear you say that. She'll attack.
Let me say it. I call her my Ziploc bag now because she's got a C-section scar.
Oh my god! I don't know if my wife would laugh or shoot me.
Yeah, I can only laugh now that I'm 23 years out.
Depends on the day. Depends on the day and her mood. Sometimes she laughs, and then sometimes she just looks at me like she's plotting my murder. I've only said it like 3 times, so I'm like,
that's great. Well, that's love. There's a nice little shelf that hangs over,
That's what they say. But you literally created a being.
I know, right?
Who gives like anyone who's judging that should you should have the ability to take their beingness away from them.
First off, it's comedy. Second, it's hilarious. And third, I couldn't even fathom I have so much appreciation for her for creating life. Like all I did was just shoot something in her. That was it. she grew it and went through it.
This is our most graphic episode by far.
Really?
It's going to be real interesting to edit.
It's the best thing that I've ever done, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm in constant awe.
Son, who is a loyal listener. My daughter, God bless her, I love her. I don't think she listens at all, but my son listens to every single one. Shout out to Noah.
Hey,
Shout out Noah.
And, his girlfriend is a huge lover of all things Mothman prophecy or Mothman prophecies. Yes,
I love the fact that somebody put a tribal tramp stamp on the Mothman statue.
Yes.
that's funny.
Mothman. That's a whole episode. It's coming.
I was just gonna say we need to do an episode.
Yeah.
I'd love to have
Men in Black.
Laura,
That
be a little guest with us, maybe
Sure.
a girlfriend if she'll say yes to it. It's like a
that'd
guest
be awesome.
That'd be
because they
cool.
know
Yeah.
a lot about it. So
I want to do 2 parts on that too.
Yeah, that would be a good 2-parter.
yeah, it would be a great two-parter.
I love that. I love that one. But if you're listening to this, you've already listened to our most recent guest episode. We had a lot of fun with that one. Me and
I can't
Jamie
wait.
got
I can't wait to
readings,
listen to that one
which was pretty interesting.
because that was with the psychic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the
Yeah, it
medium.
was
My
really
bad.
good. Yeah, she really hit on like a thing that I was wondering about, and I got a lot of clarity. So she did a really great job.
I was really pissed that I missed that one, but
Yeah, she did. And I reached out to her and let her know that what she had talked about actually came true. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, so it was good. Yeah.
If we have any listeners out there that are intuitive or are mediums and you want to come on as a guest, you're more than welcome.
hit us up at ssospodcast@gmail.com.
Mhm.
Even if you're not a medium, we'd love to hear your crazy, wild, weird stories. Like nothing's too crazy, nothing's too weird. No judgment here.
And we're getting some really cool stuff. We got
I can't wait.
we got a haunted fast food restaurant coming up.
It was so good.
Yeah, we got I think
Haunted hot dog. Harry's haunted hot dogs.
maybe it has pickles.
Ooh.
Oh,
And then we
I
also
can't wait
have,
for that episode to come out.
we have another person that's intuitive of some sort. I don't exactly remember. And then we have a EMT person, I believe, too.
Oh, did they reschedule?
No, it's a different one, I think, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, like Josh said, hit us up, ssospodcast@gmail.com. Our socials. Pop
Scrolling
'em
across
up
the
here.
bottom.
You go. Yeah, we actually have a Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Like
I don't have
I
Facebook.
don't know. I don't really have a Facebook either, but
I don't either. I have it. I just don't use it. But
all the marketing stuff said have a Facebook, so I have a Facebook.
nice.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not watching this on video, hit us up on Instagram, Secret Society of Strangers Pod, TikTok, SSOS Podcast, and apparently Facebook, the Secret Society of Strangers Podcast. And we've got a YouTube also.
If you're watching, if you're watching right now, like, subscribe,
Hit the bell.
ding the bell. It all helps.
Yeah. Help us to help you.
Yeah, man. And check out that link tree, cop some merch.
Oh yeah, look at this sweet merch, and then koozies and stuff. Like keeps your
Koozies.
beer nice and cold. I was gonna say toasty, but you don't want toasty beer unless you're in Europe. Then that's you. You know what? I'm not gonna beer shame.
Don't. I have a friend that's a beer expert, so
Oh,
we'll get
beer
him on
snob.
the pod to oh yeah, we'll get him to come school us on beer. Oh, and Jamie's in beer choir.
Oh yeah, beer choir.
Oh, yay. Yes. We sing around town.
Wait, you go around town?
Are you caroling now?
we
I thought you like hung out in a brewery and just like
okay, so we practice once a week
sang
at one
piano.
brewery, right?
Mhm.
And then we have like a performance once a quarter. But in the summer, we actually are going to perform at like the opening for some of the soccer games or something. And I don't know.
well, wow, that's
Oh,
dope.
nice.
Yeah, so we do perform around town at different breweries.
That's cool.
That's long. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Pretty cool.
A lot of just like weird theater kids. We all grew up. So,
So you're weird. You're still weird kids, but now you can drink.
well, but we grew up in the theater, so we know how to read music and perform and like to perform on stage. So
Nice.
now we have an outlet to do that with other weird theater kids who've grown up. We're all introverts, Well, actually, I'm more
Oh,
extroverted now, but
Introverted extroverts.
yeah, exactly. So
Story
it
of
gives
my
us
life.
reason to get out and hang out with one another once a week. It's a lot
That's
of fun.
cool.
Yeah.
The older I
That's really
get, the more I wish I was like a theater kid. Like
I appreciate that, Tom, very much.
I would have liked the behind the scenes stuff though, like
Oh, like a stage hand.
Yeah.
You
I
can
felt
still
that.
do it. I'm sure there's a local theater you could
The Playhouse or something. That would be cool.
Yeah. I want my daughter to do it. I'm not.
See, you
There's
could
other
get
stuff I
daughter
would do.
into children's theater, and then you could be the dad who helps.
I'll do other stuff. There's other stuff I want to do more. Like go on like a paranormal investigation.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, I'm slowly working my way into all these groups.
I want to do that like spirit box thing where you like have blindfold on.
Oh yeah.
Chirp.
Well,
He
you
said
guys,
chirp.
Chirp.
here, I'll say this. I may cut this out. It may never happen, but I'm going to say it on recording. If you guys end up coming here, and you guys, get yourselves here, all your airfare and everything, I'll buy us a spirit box. So
Halloween episode.
fuck around with it when we're here. Yeah. I think it's fair, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
That'd be so sick.
For
I
real.
can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yeah, man. All right, listeners, thank you so
All right.
much for listening. We appreciate you. Thanks for all the love, the share, the comments, the likes, social media stuff.
Means a
Yeah,
lot.
no, it's great. I love it. It's been super rad so far.
Yeah.
All right, later, everybody.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to join us as a guest, suggest a topic, or have a story you want us to share, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at ssospodcast@gmail.com. For more behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive insights about SSOS, make sure to follow us on social media. And don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for listening to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. This show is an independent production, researched and crafted by our passionate team. But we couldn't do it without all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Embrace the unknown, for not all secrets are meant to be kept. Farewell, strangers.